Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today we're going to be ranking all of the LEGO Ninjago Reimagined shorts that were released. There were 5 of them in total, and those are going to be ranked now in this video from my least favorite to my favorite. And keep in mind that this is all just based on my personal opinion, so I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on these shorts down below, and let me know your rankings as well, because I always like to compare my own rankings to yours also. So I hope you do go on to enjoy the video. We're going to go quite in depth with my thoughts and opinions on each of these, but keep in mind as well, I did do separate videos for all of them with reactions and reviews, so if you want to see either of those, go check them out. I'll be sure to link it at the end of this video. But for now, without further ado, let's get straight into it here with the first short. Alright, so to kick off this ranking here, we have a day in the life of a golden ninja, and I want to preface this as well that I don't dislike any of these shorts. I actually liked all of them quite a bit, but of course, if I'm going to go through my least favorite to my favorite, I have to rank them in some sort of order, and this one fell a little bit short, and I think it's definitely going to be one of the more popular opinions to have this one as the lowest ranked. It's definitely sort of aiming for a younger audience with this one, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like these shorts because they target different audiences than Ninjago typically would. Of course, there can be an argument made that Ninjago is a children's show, but it definitely has more mature themes in it, I would say, especially lately in the series as well, with Seabound, Master of the Mountain, things like that. We've seen it throughout Ninjago as a whole, and this one is definitely just primarily a comedic tone throughout. It's kind of just focused on a golden ninja and then a dragon working together to clean the monastery and sort of take care of it, and it just takes place completely, I would assume, in an alternate sort of universe, because we don't see any of the other ninja. No one else is at the monastery at the moment, so unless they're on a journey right now and this is just the person taking care of the actual monastery, I'm not too sure what the sort of context is of it. But I would say that most of the jokes did land quite well. I thought they were pretty good. It just doesn't feel like the most rewatchable short, and it also felt very similar to Looney Tunes. I would say that sort of humor is what I would sort of compare it to, and I like the style that they went with the narrator kind of giving context to all of the situations, and then just seeing these two characters sort of play out their roles in more physical humor ways. So I thought it was well done. I felt the pace was pretty good. It is the longest of these shorts, so definitely was an interesting choice to make this one, and I welcome it whenever Ninjago tries something new like this. So I can't say that I dislike this one, but it's just probably my least favorite. Alright, now the next short that we have here in the ranking is the Golden Hour one, and this is one that I would argue fits the most within the standard Ninjago continuity timeline, and this one was actually, the concept was created by a Ninjago fan through the LEGO World Builder website, and he is Uday Kataria, so huge congratulations to him for having his concept turned into a real short, and it was honestly fantastic. I love how this sort of fills in a gap for Ninjago. It kind of reminds me of a similar sort of thing like with Star Wars, of Rogue One sort of filling in a big gap in that universe, and it feels like a similar sort of thing, of course in a slightly smaller scale, I would say, with it being only a short, but still kind of fulfilling the same sort of purpose. And I love the animation as well, kind of going for that Will film style, so I did like seeing that. It kind of gave me a bit of nostalgic feelings to how the series used to be animated, so that was really great to see as well. I love how they were jumping through different periods of time as well, from very nostalgic and just important moments throughout the history of Ninjago. I thought that was really cool to see as well, and to see some characters kind of animated in a newer style as well, which was definitely quite cool to see. And then the overall just sort of atmosphere of it as well was really great. It was kind of a very tense short as well, because you know what's going to happen to Wu by the end of this, that he's going to de-age completely into a baby, but just seeing it all happen is definitely quite interesting. My only small minor complaint with this one would probably be just the fact of how we don't really find out what happens to the time twins by the end of this short. We're left to think that I assume they're just kind of lost in time, similar to how Wu was basically, or just kind of like destroyed in time as well. Nonetheless, it just seems like they're kind of written out of time completely, but who knows. I think also the ambiguity of how they kind of left this short would open it up to us possibly being able to see those characters once again in the future, which I would not be opposed to by any means, because I think Acronix and Crux were such great villains for Season 7. I feel like they were one of my favorite parts of the Hands of Time, so I really did enjoy their presence within that season, so I would definitely not be opposed to seeing them once again in the future. So I think that could also be the reason why they went the route that they did, by not giving us a definitive answer of what their fate was from this sort of like mini short here. So I think that was really smartly done, and it was just overall a fantastic short, great animation, and just a really great story as well. Now the next short that we have here in the ranking is the Golden Legend one, and this one was honestly fantastic. It had such a unique animation style to it, and also the tone as well definitely went for a more mature audience, and I did like that quite a bit because I think it makes a lot of sense considering Ninjago fans from day one would have matured along with the series, and I feel like this sort of pays off and kind of appealing to those fans who are original ones as well. So I did like that quite a bit. It definitely has such a unique style to it. You're gonna hear me gush about the animation throughout this entire ranking for each of the shorts, and this one is no exception. I love the classic sort of black and white aesthetic to it, and then also the classic Japanese ancient aesthetic to it as well. It feels very classic and reminds me of films such as Rashomon, who I know some people might not be aware of, but it's a classic Japanese film that definitely has some similarities to this short here in the style and atmosphere of it, and I loved how they were able to achieve that here because of course that's kind of Ninjago's roots, and I love seeing them sort of pay respect to that as well through this short, and pay just kind of like sort of giving you a little bit of vibes from that. So I did like that quite a bit as well. I love the style of this one. I think it had a really clever twist as well nearing the end of it, how you followed this sort of warrior throughout his journey here, and then by the end of it you figure out that you were actually following the antagonist of the story, and it turns out that the dragon defending the ninja here, who are frozen in gold, was actually the hero of the story and the narrator as well. So it was a very clever twist that was really well done and very well hidden throughout the short as well. If you watch my reaction, you can see that by the end I am quite shocked by the sort of twist reveal there, so I did like that quite a bit as well. It's very well done, honestly an excellent short. You're going to hear me say that for a lot of these shorts. I don't really have too many critiques for any of them, so this one was just fantastic, so well done and so unique as well. Alright, now the next short that we have here in the ranking is Gold Rush, and this one was honestly just visually spectacular. I love the style that they took on because it reminded me so much of Into the Spider-Verse, and I absolutely love that film. It's one of my favorites of all time, so it was so cool to kind of see Ninjago take on a similar style to that, and also kind of being influenced a bit by Monkey Kid. It felt like just kind of a bit of differences between the animation and the art of the characters, but still kind of similar to that as well, kind of giving some minor comparisons between the two of them. So that was unique as well, how they kind of took on that style and sort of adapted it in their own sort of way. So it was cool to see that as well in the short, and I love the actual story as well. I love how action-packed it is, that it just doesn't stop. As soon as you get into this short, you're just straight into it, and then you don't finish until the end of it. So I did like that quite a bit. It was definitely really well done action-wise and pacing-wise as well. I feel like the length of this short definitely fits it quite well, being a bit shorter, so I think that worked in its favor quite a bit, and I absolutely love getting to see both Kai and Nia in both of their golden 10th anniversary suits. I think that was such a clever idea, and you'll see that in the next short that we talk about as well, my number one of course, but it was definitely very well done in that aspect as well, and kind of the whole scenery and just the way the city is designed in that sort of Into the Spider-Verse style really reminded me of season 3 rebooted, when we sort of went into this new technological age for Ninjago. So it was definitely kind of reminding me of that as well in the similar sort of style, but overall it was just so well done, such a fantastic short, really great pace to it as well, fantastic action, probably some of the best action I would say throughout all of these shorts. I just love the hyper sort of pace of it. It kind of reminded me of the Lego movie series, I would say, for each and every one of them. Those are a little bit of a faster pace, even being a longer sheer length. You can sort of feel the story is just constantly moving and there isn't too much filler within that, and I feel like this short did a good job of comprising itself of that and just all the necessary things in the actual storyline for this. So it was really well done. I like the conclusion as well, and I love Cyrus Borg's inclusion as well. I didn't want to forget to mention that because it's always cool to see that character return. Even if it's in a more minor role like this, it was still very interesting. So overall, I would say this was a really great short. Alright, now we have arrived at my top spot here in the ranking, and that is taken up by Sweatin' to the Goldies, the short that was a complete surprise to all fans because they didn't tease this one in the original trailer for the Reimagined short series. So this was such a fantastic surprise. I absolutely love this short so much. I love the animation style, how it's quite similar to what we're receiving right now in the standard Ninjago series, but it also has its own sort of style to it as well, with more of a graphic novel sort of vibe, I would say, kind of similar to the Telltale games is what I would compare it to, with more sort of enhanced textures on the characters. The lighting as well was spectacularly done. It absolutely works so well considering that Zane and Jay are both in their 10th anniversary golden suits, so it worked really well, sort of reflecting off of that already bright color scheme. So that worked really well, and the villain as well being Reflectra, I mean, that just works spectacularly well. Also, which I absolutely have to say, I love that this was a musical as well. Musicals aren't a huge thing that I'm interested in when it's in the live action format, but when you put it into animation, I think it just works so well, and they absolutely nailed it here. I thought it was so clever, some of the details that they added as well. Some fans probably didn't notice this, and I didn't initially either, but Tommy Andreasen mentioned on Twitter that they actually, when they're doing the dance against Electra, or Reflectra, sorry, and Jay is doing the letters, he actually spells out clutch powers. So that was so smart of them to do that, and I thought that was just really clever, kind of similar to like the YMCA dance or whatever. So I really did like that quite a bit. So a nice little added detail there as well, and I love the premise of this as well. I thought it was so smart how they set it up that Clutch has the teapot of Tyran, and of course he's using Nauticon to sort of make his wishes come true of becoming a famous star here for this film that he's doing. So that worked really well also, and you kind of get a bit of a tease as they're walking the red carpet, Zane and Jay, that you get to see him sort of disappear seemingly. So I'm wondering if they're sort of teasing that within the continuity of the actual Ninjago series, because this is once again another one that I feel like could fit quite well within that continuity without breaking it apart, because of course these suits could just be something that they wear to look fancy on the red carpet for this movie premiere. So I think everything sort of fits in quite well with the actual series, so I did like that as well. That's definitely one of the strengths of this one. And then the actual fight sequence as well, of course, I love how they work it into the musical element as well, and the dancing element also, and just Reflectra, once again, her design was spectacular. I need that as a minifigure. I know it's a very slim chance that we'll wind up receiving her one day, but if we do, I will be definitely number one in line to get that figure because she looks spectacular, had such a great personality as well that definitely worked really well for sort of the tone of the short, with it being quite fun and energetic in sort of nature. So I did like that quite a bit as well. It was just very well done, absolutely spectacular. I can honestly gush about it forever, and if you want to hear more thoughts and opinions on it and see my reaction as well, you could check out that separate video also, but just super well done. But that's about all I have to say for Sweatin' to the Goldies. Okay, so that's going to conclude the video here for my ranking of every LEGO Ninjago Reimagined short. I hope you did enjoy the video, and be sure to let me know your rankings down below in the comment section. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts and opinions on these shorts because there's definitely going to be some differing ones, but of course, please respect everyone's individual opinion, including my own as well. I hope you did enjoy hearing my thoughts and opinions and sort of insight into some of these shorts. I'm sure there's some things that you might have noticed as well that I didn't mention in this video, so feel free to let me know that down below as well. And if you did enjoy the video, it would be highly appreciated if you could leave a like, also subscribe as well if you would like to check out my future content. That would also be appreciated. So just thanks so much. I'll see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.